What if I told you that asking the right questions to a psychic can not only shift things for you in your life, but also help you keep the New Year resolutions? Statistics show that by the end of January or February, 80% of the people quit their New Year resolutions. In today's video, I'm going to show you the 3 questions you can ask a psychic that will help you get the clarity and guidance you need and also help you stick to your New Year's resolutions. One of my clients, Faith, wanted to put in a bid on a project, and after consulting with me, not only did she put in a much larger bid than she wanted or she thought, but she also ended up winning it. That is the power of asking the right questions. Hello everybody, I am Vaishali Nikhade. I'm an engineer turned psychic with over 9,000 readings, and I show you how you can leverage the power of stars for your love life. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. Why asking the right question matters. The 3 questions that you can ask to change your life, how these questions can keep you on track. Your goal is to be able to ask the right questions so that you can move forward and create momentum in terms of whatever it is that you are working on. So let's get started. The first part is why asking the right questions matter. So when I started working as a psychic, this was a while back, what I found is most of the people would kind of ask vague questions, and I would start reading those questions. And when I would read the vague questions, I would get vague answers. And they weren't happy with the vague answers. So I had to change my strategy, and essentially what ended up happening was I ended up spending a lot more time working with them to phrase the questions than to actually read the question and give an answer. Because when you pose the right question, you get the answer very clearly and you clearly get what your next step is going to be. However, when the question is not posed properly, then essentially what the reading is going to show you is just an answer to your question. So it is not going to be something that you are going to be happy with. And Carl Jung has a very well-known thing that he said, which means that asking the right questions is about half the work or more than half the work. I'm going to find that quote and put it over here because it was not in my original script. All right, so now we get to the second part, which is what are the 3 questions that you can ask that will change your life. So the first question is, what blocks are going to come in my way that will prevent me from moving forward? So you have to realize that whenever you have a New Year resolution or any goal, most of the times things are not going to be straight and fine. Most of the times you're going to run into roadblocks. Now, there could be like different kinds of roadblocks you run into. Some could be just minor setbacks, and some could be like real major roadblocks. But what if you could know in advance what the roadblocks are going to be so that you are more prepared, and if and when, or when rather than if, you come across them, you already have a way or a strategy to kind of navigate that particular roadblock. Don't you think it's going to make your life a lot easier? So this exactly is what the stars can do, or they can help you with. And I have a free workshop or a free masterclass where I show you how the stars can kind of point you in the direction that you need to move so that you actually don't face as many roadblocks, or things move very smoothly for you. So the link for the masterclass is below, and you can go ahead and sign up for that masterclass and see how stars can make things a lot easy for you. The second question is, what opportunities should I focus on to make things flow easily in my life? So as I mentioned before, there could be like certain opportunities that you work on. It is actually in the previous video. I'm going to link that video here. So there could be certain opportunities that you work on that are going to be favored by the stars. And if you work on those opportunities, you're going to see results a lot quickly or a lot faster. How exactly do you know which opportunities to work on? So this is something that can be decoded from the stars or by having knowledge of the stars, and that's essentially what a psychic does. Is essentially they're decoding the information from the stars and kind of telling you that, hey, listen, the stars are going to shine over here, which means that if you go over here or if you move in this direction, then things are going to be a lot easy for you. And like I mentioned before, there is a video where I show you how you can navigate the stars and kind of get help from them, in a sense that you know how the stars are going to favor you. And once you know how the stars are going to favor you in terms of like which area of your life, then you can work on that area and get results a lot faster. And I covered that in the masterclass. The link is below. So essentially that would be like what opportunities you need to focus on for things to flow easily, which means that if you work on that particular thing or during that particular time, then the result is going to come to you very easily, as opposed to going on an uphill climb. And then the third question is, what small change can I make so that things move forward or that things propel forward rapidly? Sometimes what would happen is, if you are working on a certain goal, then you could be so immersed in working on it that you may not even know that there could be a shortcut for you to be able to move forward or go forward. And this particular shortcut can only come if you step away from it, or if you kind of let your intuition take over and guide you or direct you to the next step. Rather than, essentially think of it as, rather than going through the long road, you have a shortcut. And this particular shortcut is just a small change. It's a very small, tiny shift, tiny but significant. Just a small minor change that you can make that will kind of help you move things forward. And just this one shift, think of it like consulting an expert. Let's say that you are stuck on a problem and you don't really know a way out, but there is an expert who knows the way out, and you call that expert and the expert says, oh, instead of doing this, do this, and you go and do this, and then essentially the system starts working. So that's essentially how the stars can help you navigate, but it's essentially they can also show you what is the small change you can make so that things can move forward. So by asking all these three questions, essentially what you're finding out or what you're trying to find out from a psychic is, whatever goal it is that you are working on, you are not going to run into roadblocks, or if you run into roadblocks, then you essentially have a strategy to work against the roadblocks or to navigate those roadblocks. You also want to know where things are going to flow easily, and you also want to know what changes you need to make or what small shifts can help you propel forward. And by doing these three changes, or by asking these three questions, essentially you can help yourself by moving towards your goal a lot faster. So go ahead and put in the comments below, which of these three questions would you ask a psychic in order to help you move forward? So the last part is how these questions keep you on track. So by asking these questions, what you are doing is you are making your life easier for yourself to be able to navigate towards your goal in a faster manner. So think of, let's say that you have to go from point A to point B, and this is your goal. So this is your end point, and this is your starting point. And let's say that the only road you know to go from A to B is this road. So naturally you start on this road and you see this uphill climb over here, and you're just struggling to climb because you've never really climbed this kind of a mountain before, and your legs are feeling really, really heavy, and it's very, very hard for you to start climbing that mountain. Now, what if I told you that, let's say there's a small shift you can make. So instead of doing this, you just make a detour here, and then you make another detour here, and another detour here, and another here. And instead of having to navigate this mountain, you may have a slightly longer path, but it is not as uphill. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to kind of go from this particular point to this particular point. So even though it looks longer, it's a lot easier. So that is how asking these questions can make life easy for you. So now that you know what the questions are that you should ask a psychic in order to be able to move faster towards your goals, what if there was a way for you to know exactly when you're going to be able to reach your goals, or how easily or how quickly will you be able to reach your goals? That is known as divine timing, and that is the subject of another video which I have covered, which is going to show up on your screen. So go ahead and watch the video on divine timing, and you will know exactly how divine timing works and how you can leverage it to be able to meet your goals. So I'll see you in the next video.